My name is Adrian Nantchev, and this channel is all about helping you become a remarkable entrepreneur. So click on the subscribe button below and press the bell notification right next to it for the latest uploads. Now, how is it you go about becoming an influencer? There's quite a rather structured way to it. It's not something rather spontaneous. Essentially, you want to go on the principle of create more than you consume. Create more content and share it with the world than you consume. So if you go around creating a book, a video, an infographic, a cheat sheet, a book, an ebook for example, or audio book, and so many other little what's called lead magnets, other things out there in the world, people can find it, consume it, and then attribute that knowledge they've just received to you. You see, when you share your knowledge, people start to see you and recognize you as an expert. Knowledge is one way that people can see expertise and mastery over a certain domain. There's a few other ways that people can recognize mastery and expertise, but one of them is knowledge, knowledge. And you have things right now, your experiences, you have things right now that make you an expert, even if you've not got a degree or stuff like that, or PhD and all these other things. Your experiences up in your life today makes you an expert, because there are people out there in the world that, one, have not experienced what you experience, and two, want to learn what you know already. They're willing to pay for the stuff and access for the things in your head right now. And so that means there are people out there that are willing to put down cash to know what you know. So they don't realise it and they don't know it, but they're waiting for you. They are waiting for you. They're waiting for you to create content so they can then discover and consume your content and then follow you or subscribe to you. They're waiting for you, they just don't know it. So the first method really is to publish your ideas, share your ideas and create content with the world. Books is a damn good example. YouTube videos is another example. Blogs used to be a good one. I've heard now on the rise of vlogging, and I want to incorporate that into everything I'm doing here. Vlogging, behind the scenes, what the hell's happening in your life, kind of thing. Putting the emotional side onto your business side. That's very important, and I need to implement that. Actually, I just remembered. And also, what I recently discovered is a podcast. About a month ago, I heard from one of my quasi-mentors that by not having a podcast and also not vlogging, not having a podcast, not by blogging, you're missing out on attention and awareness and people know, like and trust you. So straight after I heard that, I started a podcast, and that was like Sunday night, Monday morning, and then by Wednesday I had episode 1 recorded. And it's like I'm on episode 49, 50 odd, 51. I got 51 set up, and episode 50 is going to be interesting. I'm going to a dealership, a Porsche dealership, so it's like interesting. So it's like starting a podcast is a good way to create more than you consume, and you're also leveraging people's reputation and history and respect, and also you're building a connection with people. You're building networks. You're being known by people. You're spending 20 to 40 minutes with a guest. You're interviewing them. You're asking them questions. They're answering it. And they become to know, like, and trust you because they're familiar with you. See, people like it when they listen, right? People like to talk about themselves. So you get someone talking about themselves for 20, 40 minutes, they're more likely to like you and give something back to you. Like I've got some PR attention already because of networking with these people. So a podcast and a vlog. I actually need to start that very soon. It's on my list of things to do, which is a crazy amount of stuff, and probably what the logistics behind that is just do YouTube live and then upload it and be done with it. So a vlog, very useful. So publish content, create more than you consume, and be discovered. That helps you to be discovered online. The one after that is you need to have a product worth selling, and a product there's all sorts of different kinds of products you can sell. Free products, cheap products. There's four main kinds of products: free product, a cheap product, an expensive product, and a subscription product. Now, you don't need all of these per se, because a subscription, that's Netflix. A free product, that's like Bejeweled and all the rest of advertisements, or microtransaction inside, so it's free/cheap. Walmart is just purely cheap. And this one here, I don't know, I would say Whole Foods or Nordstrom, they're quite expensive. So you want a cheap product, something for free that helps build connections and build SEO and build awareness so people can discover you and like what you create and then consume what you create and subscribe and follow for free. cheap products, which could be a book, for example, or a course, something that's very inexpensive for them to just purchase. $10, $20, $50, something like that. It's low value but high volume. And the opposite to that is expensive products, and these are things which are the opposite. So it's low volume, high value. So you're talking like a speaking gig, a couple of grand speaking gig. And subscription is they pay you monthly, $100, $50 a month, because that shows reoccurring and that shows reliable cash flow coming into the business, and that keeps the accountant happy. You then need to be conscious of what YouTube and Google. When you search your name into YouTube and Google, you need to be very conscious of that, because you are what Google says you are. And if loads of positive, cool stuff appears in the Google search, then that's great. But if loads of negative, bad stuff appears in the Google search, then that's really bad. I knew someone who was a bit of a con man, and you search his name in, and it's got some okay stuff, but loads and loads of bad stuff, like bad PR on this website here, like saying he's a risk to wealth. Another one over here in a newspaper article saying, a little derogatory or / investigation about who he is, and it's like, this is on Google One. That is not good at all. That's not good for your personal brand, not good for your image. And so you want to have partnerships as well. So this is why a podcast is very good as well, because when you have partnerships, you got connections, you got people to leverage around the world. And also going back a bit, this is why the podcast is very good, because when you give these people a chance to talk to you and come onto your platform, it's called what I call the Oprah Winfrey effect, which is you're building your reputation based on what their reputation is as well. So if you interview 100 people, your reputation goes higher. But if you interview Richard Branson, it'll skyrocket it'll just go through the roof. So that's a lot of leverage right there, and it's a lot of halo effect really. So you need to have partners, people you can ring up and just to say, can you help me on this, or what's your thoughts on that, or how's your podcast going? Can I come on the show? Things like that. Because you see, it's not what you know. Everyone knows smart stuff. Everyone's smart. It's not really who you know. That's okay. It's who knows you. If you can create content and be discovered around the world, then not only are you creating what's called a parasocial relationship, but you're also increasing the chances of people discovering you. A parasocial relationship is essentially, you know how a relationship is two ways? I know someone, they know me. In a parasocial relationship, it's I'm creating content. So I'm having a conversation essentially. You know who I am, because I'm talking about me and my advice and my journey and loads of other videos. You know who I am, but I don't know who you are per se. So it's kind of one way a relationship. But it's parasocial because it's a social relationship, but it's not quite, I suppose. Another thing is when you create content, you're being discovered around the world, and that helps to do all sorts of stuff. Recently, I got an invite to this podcast that I think is starting very soon. I'm not going to give the title about it, but I got an invite to this podcast recently, and it's like, yeah, sure, I'm interested, tell me more, when it's up and running, and it's like, let's go for it. And also, someone I interviewed in my early podcast, well, one of the people I interviewed at the very beginning, they invited me to this PR thing that they have on their company, and soon after that, someone else invited me onto their podcast, which I don't think is up and running yet at all. But recently, someone else invited me to this PR thing in America with they got the newspapers, and I think they're like a PR sourcing agency. So it's like, oh, pretty cool. No money down, PR attention. So that's pretty cool indeed. So create more than you consume. Work with people. Do a vlog. Do a podcast. Write a book as well, because supply and demand. Everyone's got a university degree and a master's degree, so there's plenty of supply. But how many people do you know that's written a book? How many authors do you know by name? I know 6 at a stretch, I know 2 comfortably. But it's like, write a book, no one else has done it. There's no competition. I'm in the middle of writing my 2nd book right now, and I want to finish it by the end of the year. End of calendar year 2017. I want to finish it way before then, but I want to finish it as soon as possible, because writing a book is a big commitment. So I'm working on a book, and I recommend you do the same, because as soon as you've written a book, you are an expert in people's eyes. Very few people apparently have the patience to sit down and actually write a book, which I'm quite surprised about that, because it's so easy. It's just quite an easy thing to do. So I highly recommend podcast, vlogging. I need to get on that now, and after this video I must write that down, not to forget it. writing a book, creating more content. If you just go into Google and type in things like lead magnet examples, LEAD magnet examples, you get loads of other content ideas. Infographic is a really good idea. They're a bit tedious to create, but infographics are good. Creating content, doing live broadcasts as well, they're really good with YouTube and Facebook Live. You could also do competitions, giveaway competitions, you know, like giving away an iPad or something like that. I've not tested at all with that, but I'm a little iffy about that for one reason or another, but I've heard it's quite good. Other one you could do is collaborate with people. And that's what I've been doing on YouTube and collaborating with for the podcast, inviting people onto the podcast, and then just getting the podcast started and getting it pushed out there. So collaborating with people is really helpful. And create more than you consume. Be discovered online. Be discovered online. Have a product. Have your content out there with long form content. I've heard long form content is very good for creating what's called qualified leads. So strangers that consume your content for the first time. If it's a little bit like snackable content, it's okay, it's fine. But if it's long form content, the more they read of it, the more they become to know, like, and trust you. So this is why on YouTube, well, inadvertently, there's a massive prerogative on the YouTube's algorithm to have long content, 8 minutes long, at least 8 minutes, because YouTube likes long form content for watch time, and when people consume more of your content, the more familiar they are with you. So if you go around creating seven pieces of content or 11 hours of video by YouTube, Google did a study a few years ago and said 7 hours of content, 7 pieces of content or 11 hours of video, and then you start building rapport with people. So if people read seven of your blogs and consume 11 hours of your video, then they'll build rapport with you. And so that is a massive metric to just go on scale with content creation. And that's, by the way, that's the basis of my book as well. Attention Avalanche. Endlessly create more content to engage, inspire, and convert more customers. So the more you understand your audience, your target audience, the more you can then derive questions and answers and things they'll have, problems they'll have, solutions they'll need, or doubts and insecurities they'll have. And each doubt, insecurity, question, problem, solution is potentially endless amount of content you can create. It's a video, it's a podcast, it's a book, etc. It's certainly a blog for everything. And even these kind of topics, these kind of things you can talk about, you can embed them into the nature of your content elsewhere. So if you're doing a blog or a podcast, just mention it. Just bring the element into the conversation, and it's something to talk about. Fascinating stuff. But the point is, you've got to also understand precisely who you're aiming for, and there's different metrics as well to decide on who to aim for as well, all in my book. So how cool is that? So being an influencer, I'm working on it, but a lot of my mentors have said these are some of the strategies, these are things you want to work on, and it's like, okay, I'll take that. It's a jigsaw puzzle. I'll take this, I'll take that, I'll take this, and I'll piece it together in my own way. Okay, here's my patchwork strategy. So how cool is that? So my question of the day to you is, how are you going about becoming an influencer? And why? How and why are you going about becoming an influencer? How I'm doing it, as I said, I've outlined most of my strategies. The podcast, the book, the videos, the vlog, I must do that as well. Why I'm doing it, because personal brand. I've got a message out there, and I got a story which is, okay, why I'm doing it is because about June 2016 I was thinking I want to start a personal brand. I got some knowledge worth sharing, information and advice and experiences and mistakes that I've made. And then in July my grandfather passed away, and I was going to his funeral, and as I was travelling there I was thinking not many people are going to be there at the funeral, and I was thinking okay, it's going to be an unremarkable, boring event. I was wrong. There was quite a few people there, and I then realised that everyone can live a remarkable life by their own means. It's just that not everyone dares to, or is able to, or can do, or whatever. And it's like, I want to change that. I want to help 1 million entrepreneurs become remarkable. That's why I'm doing it. That's the big reason why. So I went to the funeral thinking this is going to be unremarkable and boring, and I was wrong. And then I realised everyone can be remarkable. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing now. And from here, this is like the personal brand. This is like awareness. This is like reputation, essentially. From the reputation, I can go on to do other cool things as well in the world. So it's very important. How cool is that? Now, also remember that this channel is all about helping you become a remarkable entrepreneur. So go out there today and do something remarkable. In the meantime, however, click on the subscribe button below and press the bell notification right next to it for the latest uploads. How cool is that?